Hi people, it's me Anja, my pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new video. Honestly, I don't read thrillers that often because typically I find them to be more predictable than immersive, but I've read quite a few of specifically Sapphic thrillers recently, so I decided to accumulate this entire list and make a video dedicated to all of them. So anyway, without any further ado, the first book on this list is called I Hope You're Listening. This book is a YA Sapphic thriller following a young Sapphic main character as she tries to decide if she should make her podcast, which is dedicated to missing persons that she made in honor of her best friend who went missing a decade ago, public when history starts to repeat itself. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, and I hope that it did. This book is so good, and it's absolutely so awesome. First of all, the mystery was so intriguing and so thrilling, and I had no idea what would happen next, and it truly kept me on my toes. Second of all, the Sapphic romance was so well developed and so distinct. Third of all, the characters were so well developed, and I was so emotionally invested and attached to the people that the story was about, as well as the events that were happening too. Literally, this book is so good, and it's so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype. So anyway, with all of that said, I would highly, highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called My DearestDarkest. This book is a YA horror Sapphic thriller dark academia urban fantasy that follows a pair of main characters. One of them is bisexual and the other one is a lesbian as they work together against a threat that they've accidentally summoned within their school. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this book is so good, and I'm so excited to read the author's next book, which I believe comes out next year, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, this book is so good. First of all, the plot was so intriguing, and it was absolutely so thrilling, and I really had no idea what would happen next. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The Sapphic romance was so well developed and absolutely so lovely. The world building was so well done and so unique, and it really made the story so much more immersive. I had really low expectations before I started this book because, again, I'm not the biggest fan of thrillers, but this book absolutely kept me on my toes, which I really, really appreciated, and that's why I would highly recommend it. This book is absolutely so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype. So with all that said, I would highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Burn Down, Rise Up. This book is a YA Sapphic horror thriller advertised as Stranger Things meets Kayla, and it follows a young Sapphic Dominican main character who's investigating these weird disappearances in her neighborhood that are rumored to be connected to an ancient urban legend now that she has a personal stake in it. This book is so good, and it's absolutely so well done, and it's one of the more underrated books that I've read this year. It's literally so good, and it deserves so much more hype. Although, honestly, I don't know if it really constitutes as a thriller, but it was really thrilling for me, so for me it counts. But anyway, I just don't know what the line is between horror and supernatural stuff and thrillers necessarily. But anyway, the point is, this book is so good. The plot was so intriguing and absolutely so engaging. The world building was so well done, and it was so easy to understand and easy to immerse yourself in, which I really appreciated. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The Sapphic romance was literally so well done. I typically don't love childhood best friends to lovers, but this book executed it so well. And the friendships and the family dynamics were also so awesome. This book is so good, and it's absolutely so awesome and so thrilling and so intriguing. So anyway, with all that said, I would highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called A Lesson in Vengeance. This book is a YA dark academia Sapphic thriller, and it follows a young lesbian main character who's returning to school a year after her girlfriend died, and she must face the darkness within herself and the school when history starts to repeat itself again, because the school is haunted by its witchcraft history from the Salem times, and the book is set in modern day. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but basically this book is so good, and I'm absolutely so excited for the author's next book, which I believe is called The Girl That Time Forgot, and it's another Sapphic thriller that comes out next year. I'm not completely sure what the synopsis is or anything like that, but the title alone intrigues me, and the fact that this book was so good definitely raises my expectations. But anyway, this book is so good. First of all, the plot was so intriguing and so engaging and so thrilling. The Sapphic romance was so well developed and so distinct. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The world building was so awesome and so immersive, and the writing was literally so good. This book deserves all of its hype and so much more. So with that, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Bad Things Happen Here. This book is a YA contemporary thriller set in a town with a history of unsolved murders, with a main character, a plus-size POC Sapphic main character, might I add, desperate to uncover it all. This book is absolutely so good, and I really enjoyed it. First of all, the author is literally so talented at creating and crafting such an interesting, wonderful atmosphere with such well-developed, distinct main characters that you can't help but be so emotionally attached to. Literally, this author is so underrated, and this book is no exception. It's absolutely so good. The story was so interesting, and it was so fascinating. The characters were so well-developed and so distinct. The Sapphic romance was so lovely, and it was so well done. The plus-size representation was so lovely and so wonderful. The family dynamics and the friendships were so lovely. The plot was absolutely so thrilling, and the mystery in itself was so intriguing and so engaging. This book is absolutely so good, and I really appreciated it because I really enjoyed it. So with all that said, I would highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called The Gloomy Skulls. This book is a YA dark academia thriller that follows 4 queer main characters as they start to investigate the murder of their best friend and discover connections to ancient fairy tales along the way. So it's also a bit of an urban fantasy. I'm so excited to read the sequel to this book, which I believe comes out in the beginning of November. Like, literally, I'm so excited to read it because this book was so good. First of all, the queer representation was absolutely so fantastic. Of the 4 main characters, 2 of them are lesbians, 1 of them is bisexual, and the other one is ace. There's also great POC representation as well. Of the 4 main characters, 2 of them are people of color, and of those 2 people of color, 1 of them is Asian. The ace character is the Asian one, and one of the lesbian main characters is half Native Hawaiian and half black. And there's also disability representation in the cast as well, in chronic illness representation, and I believe OCD and anxiety representation. But even aside from the great representation, the characters themselves as people are such great, well-developed, distinct characters, and I love each and every single one of them so well. Literally, like, they're so great characters, and I love them, and I love their friendship dynamics, and I love all their side, like, romances. Literally, this book is so good. The plot is so intriguing and absolutely so thrilling. The world building was so fantastic. I'm so excited to see all of them again in the sequel in November. So anyway, with all of that said, I would highly recommend this book. So, in conclusion, first of all, I hope that this video helps diversify your bookshelf. And second of all, if you enjoy this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the candle emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!